The number of psychopaths in the world is on the increase, I would say. And there are certain ways to manage psychopaths and certain ways you can't. First of all, you have to understand that psychopaths are always going to be part of any population. There's always going to be a certain amount of the population that does not have empathy for others, who is a sadist, who wishes to harm others, and who generally does not act in a way, who acts antisocial. There's always going to be a certain amount of the population that are psychopaths, period. We know this from studies that they've looked at different professions, and they found things like being a CEO is highly, being a psychopath is almost a requirement of being a CEO. And there are a few other positions that seem to sort of attract psychopaths. But, I mean, psychopaths are all over. They're not just CEOs of corporations. They are your everyday people. They really are. And if you don't know this, then you're not paying attention to what's going on in your own family or your own neighborhood, because there are people who are just bad, who don't appear to be redeemable, who don't appear to have any empathy for other people. And I would argue that the free market and capitalism keeps them sort of contained and keeps their populations low, and that there are other forms of government which seem to increase the number of psychopaths that the population has. And I think we have to start looking at other cultures and seeing what the behavior is and seeing what's going on. And we know, for a fact with Islam that there's a high proportion of people who beat their wives. That to me is antisocial behavior. It may not be psychopathy, but it certainly starts getting you there, because psychopaths exhibit certain behaviors, right? And the behaviors that they exhibit really include not really caring about the concern or feelings or safety, honestly. Honestly, let's talk about it what it is. The physical safety of other people is of no concern to psychopaths. And they exhibit that in different ways, whether it's through emotional manipulation or through torture. And either one is a valid way of exhibiting for the psychopath their tendencies towards antisocial behavior. But with certain forms of culture, it kind of starts to run rampant. People harming each other, people throwing acid on other people's faces, especially on women's faces, throwing acid on their faces in order to disfigure them for life. The ultimate fuck you, and there's just seems to be cultures, like I said, that support that. And at least, okay, here in the Midwest United States, in the years that I've been alive, from the late 70s to present, that's not really how stuff has worked. We created a kind of a really beautiful culture here, at least the one that I grew up in, where it was sort of like unicorns and fluffy clouds, and everything was very simple and explainable. However, for me personally, I also grew up with abuse, and I understand psychopathy, and I understand at least some of that sadistic behavior that one person can do to another. And y'all don't know what people are capable of. Let me tell you, y'all don't know. As somebody who's an abuse survivor, I can tell you, you guys have no idea what other people are capable of. And let me tell you this from my own experience, that if people are not able to fulfill their psychopathic needs on one level, on a physical level, they will go to a different level. They will go to an emotional level, or they will go to an intellectual level, or whatever the level they need to fulfill these base urges that they have for being, quite frankly, evil. And here's how capitalism plays into that, because capitalism and the free market gives these people who have to exhibit this antisocial behavior, who aren't really capable of interacting with society, quite frankly, it gives them an outlet. It gives them gambling. It gives them ways to, it gives them cigarettes. It gives them places of ill repute. It gives them strip clubs. It gives them all kinds of things that they can use as tools to blow off steam, so that they don't harm the rest of the population. It contains them in a nice, neat package. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. The mass of people that has this psychopathy, this tendency, as possibly up to 10% or more of the population has, to harm others and to not feel empathy. This tendency towards these values, I'm very grateful that they are siphoned off into a nice, neat little box and away from the rest of society by gambling and alcohol and bars and all these kind of things that people can get caught up with, that just they basically they at least in our culture here where I am, they self-destruct by drinking themselves to death or doing drugs or getting in car accidents, and they or killing each other, and they generally just sort of just exist, and or then they die, and then they don't bother as many people. But the problem when you don't have a free market society is you have no way for people to express that sort of seething anger that they have because of their own inability to understand emotions. They don't have that place to do that anymore, and they do it everywhere, and they do it on everything and everyone. And that's what we see with a lot of Islamic cultures, as we see roving gangs we see roving rape gangs. To what extent do you have to be psychopathic in order to be a part of a roving rape gang where you go and you rape women you just see in the street and you want to rape? That does not happen in the United States. That doesn't happen. I've never, ever heard of that happening in the area where I live, not even anywhere close. The only thing that anywhere close, anywhere close to this area, the only thing that I've heard that's anywhere like that is there was a woman about a year ago who got brutally beaten and raped while walking on a bike path at 2 a.m. And I'm not even going to get into that discussion because I have opinions about that too. But needless to say, that's the worst roving rape case that I can think of. And since that was met with tons of protests, people were really angry, and like we hadn't seen anything like that in a while, which is why people were so angry. And that is why people don't understand what is about to happen and what they are getting themselves into, because they have never seen it before. They come from nice families, or they come from very brainwashed families in liberalism, and they don't understand the true evil that people are capable of and do, and the true things that they commit. But once you've seen it once, and once you understand that some people are just evil, you get it, and you start seeing it everywhere. And that is the point at which you become uncontrollable and you become unbrainwashable. You have to see the truth and see the people and those situations, the real psychopaths, and call them out. You have to, for your own safety. And going forward, it's going to be very important to stick to the truth.